Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here. I am super excited to see you. In fact, I was just thinking, summer has finally arrived. We were all joking about the weather last week. And so, guess what the theme is this week? Yeah, it's a good beach vibe. I think you're going to love it. I've already seen the projects. You know, Jerry, you love it when he's on here because he's so creative. So, pop in, say hi. And we are live streaming on Brother Sewing and Crafting Facebook and YouTube channel. Don't forget if you're on YouTube to subscribe too, so you'll never miss a live show. So let's bring up Jerry. Jerry, we missed you last week, but this week's even better. How are you?
I know. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Today is good. The power is good, I hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Everything is good.
Yeah, so everybody missed you last week, but Kim took over, and we have a new term called Kimify. She Kimified all these old wedding dresses into super cool things. So she took over just fine. You're good.
Yeah, as she does. Have you seen her jackets that she does? They're amazing.
They are amazing. Everybody's popping in there saying, hey, Jerry. So, Jerry, it's about 100 degrees here in Michigan and about the same in my office right now. And so I'm pretty excited about what you're going to be showing today because I think I'm going to need that at the beach this afternoon.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Like Angela said, this is kind of a beachy, summery theme. So we're going to kind of bounce back and forth between those two things. I put up my citrus quilt, just citrusy, just to kind of keep things a cool vibe. I even have a matching shirt that I'm using. And my curtains apparently also match this whole thing. And Angela told me the surround for the brother thing is orange as well. So
yep. Look above, everyone. See that orange? I picked it just for Jerry.
Oh, see, and it's my favorite color too.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun. So what supplies do they need for, do you want to just start with one project, do both? Because the supplies, they're probably something they have laying around.
Probably, yeah. And you know me, I try to make things as simple as possible for everyone. There's nothing fancy. This is not couture sewing. If you make some little boo-boos in there, it's okay. It's okay. It's very forgivable. So what we're going to start out with, though, is a quilt that I had made, kind of a sample for Brother. We are using today the Brother Aveneer EB1. Brand new, hot out of the oven machine. Very excited about it. It's a wonderful machine. So I took some of the internal patterns, embroidery patterns, and made a little sample out of them. And the quilting around each one was done in my design center. So you can use those fill patterns for quilting patterns. So very quickly, I'll just kind of run it up here and let you see. Just show all around there.
Beautiful. Look at those colors.
Yeah. These are all built in, and I used all the stock colors that Brother said to use, and then all the quilting was done. Look, it's the quilt with eyes. I love it. And then all of the fill patterns are used for quilting patterns. So again, just kind of sticking with the summery theme. So that's kind of a start. Now for the projects, I'm very excited. So you know me, I'm very out of the box. I'm very out of the box with my fabrics. I rarely use all cottons. This is rare behind me. It's all cotton, but that was for a class that I taught. And I take you down the aisles that you don't normally go down. So anything satin, upholstery fabric, aluminum foil. Yes, we're not using those today. If you remember the last time I was on, we used dryer lint. So we are not using dryer.
I forgot about that. How could I forget about the dryer lint? That was one of the most talked about shows there is. Yeah, the dryer lint.
I'm dying to know if anybody did anything with that because it really is. It's very colorful. You can just sandwich it between and then free motion quilt or embroider over it. So it's pretty wild.
You know, Jerry, I have to confess, I haven't done anything with it, but instead of throwing the dryer lint away, I put a separate bag near the dryer and I'm collecting. I'm up to about like this much now.
That's a good idea. I saw someone combine it with some threads, real pretty decorative threads, and put it between water-soluble stabilizer and kind of free motion over the top of it, a grid pattern, and make a scarf out of it. So it was really pretty. And everyone's like, where'd you get that fabric? Where'd you get that fabric? Well, it's dryer lint. It's got my hair in it and my dog's hair, but that's okay. So today, a couple of the projects I want to run you through. Again, just trying to be out of the box. Because, when you think beachy and summery, you think, okay, we're going to create a towel or we're going to do a wrap or we're going to do a bag of some sort. And I'm like, well, okay, let's try that. But let's kind of step it up a little bit. So The first project that I'm going to talk about is a soap. It's a soap saver, a soap holder. This is great for taking to the beach. You always get sand on your feet, on your hands, on your dog. So you just put some soap inside this little pocket and it saves your soap. Now you can put this in a plastic baggie if you want to, but it's also great because it's an exfoliant. So it's going to make your skin nice and smooth. And this is made out of a washcloth. So probably stuff you already have laying around. The second project we're going to do is, and that's simple, easy sewing. It really is. This one, a little more involved, but not really. This is a shell collector bag. So if you have those shell collectors in your family, if you are a shell collector, this is a great bag for it because you can put all those shells in here, take the bag over to the water and just kind of dunk it and rinse it out all at once. So you don't have to do each shell individually. It also has hook and loop tape in as well. So if you wanted to close the top and really make sure all those shells stay in there, it's good for anything, really. It's good for just a beachy tote bag. If you just want to, run things through the water again and just kind of rinse them off, it's perfect for that. So let's go ahead and go back to Angela.
I love that idea. You want to know why, Jerry? Because not only could it be a shell bag, but lately everybody's been asking, how are you washing your beautiful embroidered shirts? And I said, well, I have a bag with some mesh. And I'm thinking that what you have right there is very similar to what you could use in the wash too. So not only you can pick shells, you can throw it in the wash.
Absolutely. And with the hook and loop tape, it's going to keep everything in there. So, all of your delicates can go in there. Anything like socks that you might lose, throw them in there and throw them in the wash. So it's all washable.
We don't lose socks. Does anybody lose their socks in the dryer? No, just one out of every time.
Oh, I'm constantly losing. I don't know where they go. Where do they go? Is there some sort of gremlin in my machine that just loves socks? I don't know. I have a whole drawer full of just single socks. So
I do too. I'll bet you in the comments. I'm gonna read while you entertain with what you're gonna show. But I will guarantee you that 90% of the people are gonna say, I don't know where that one sock went.
Right. And it's usually your nicest ones, right? Like somebody knit it for you or you bought it special or something. Those are always the ones that go away. The gremlins love those. So
Oh my gosh, that is so true. So which one you want to kick off with?
So let's start with the soap bag. Yeah. So I'm gonna switch my camera over and I'm gonna head over to the machine.
All right. Everybody's saying good morning. They love your quilt so far. So we're going over to Jerry. He's on the Aveneer in case you missed that. And let's see what you got for us.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the soap bag. Again, very simple, very easy sewing. If you make a mistake or something, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No one's going to know. And what's nice about this as well is if your stitching isn't quite up to par, all of these little loops are going to hide all that. So you just want to, these are ish sewing, we're going to call it ish sewing. You want to seam ish enough to encase the raw edges, but not enough that you need to panic over. So let's start with it. So how are we going to start? So I started with just a regular washcloth. This could be a hand towel as well. So I'll kind of move it down here and you can see I have my bottom seam here. And then I have kind of the pretty side, the top seam here. This is just a 13 by 13 inch washcloth, nothing complicated. You can get these at thrift stores, big box stores. You probably have a bunch of them laying around. You don't know what to do with them. Why do I have 8,000 washcloths and single socks? These are the questions that we have. So, so what we're going to do is this is very, very simple. These also make really great gifts. People love these. And again, you have the little loop on there so you could hang it from your shower, in your bath, at the beach, in your car. Some of you just keep them in your car if you go to the beach all the time. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need to remove this hem side of the washcloth or your hand towel, but we'll say washcloth for now. You need to remove this. So all you're going to do is just kind of chop that off so that you have the raw edges of the loops showing on just one side. That's all you got to do. And then you're going to measure 4 inches wide by 11 inches long. And so I have a piece already cut. So here it is. So we're at 4 inches wide and 11 inches long. Come all the way down. And notice those raw edges, the finished edges have been cut and I have raw edges. Now I am going to tell you when you're sewing with terry cloth, or a loopy fabric like this, especially minky, you do want to take care of your bobbin. So after you're sewing, you do want to kind of take your bobbin out, clean out in there, get your little mini vacuum and get all that lint out, because it will be kind of linty. But you know, it's again, just very simple, easy sewing. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut that piece. Now what you want to do is, and really before you cut, you do want to take your soap and you want to measure. So I'm just kind of, I'll turn it this way so you can see it. I'm measuring to see if my soap is going to fit, and I have plenty of room on each side, so I'm good there. But if it seems to be, you know, soaps are all different shapes and sizes. You may need to adjust that to maybe a 5-inch by 11. It just depends. So this is just kind of a stock soap, nothing fancy. So that should work just fine. So now what you want to do is you want to hem the short edge of the washcloth. And you could do this a number of ways. If you want to serge this, I have a Brother 3000, Airflow 3000. I could serge that. But in this case, I don't think I need to break out my serger for this. It's just such a short edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hem this and simply just roll it up. That's all you're doing. Nothing fancy. If you want to measure, if you're a measurer, certainly, yes, you can do that. I don't even have to pin this if I don't want to. If you want to, by all means, pin or clip. Use clips if you want to. But it's such a short amount that I don't really need to. Now I have a matching thread in here. I'm using a Brother Simplicity Pro thread, number 542. The color is Seacrest, in case you're wondering. And we're just going to bring our machine down, and we're going to lower the presser foot. And I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go backwards a few steps. And I am on stitch 1-03 in my utility stitches. It's just a stock straight stitch. That's all it is. And I'm going to go backwards. Sorry for hitting my camera. We did not have an earthquake, as much as I live in California. That did happen when I was doing a show before. We had an earthquake.
Oh gosh, we don't want to do that today.
Yes, we're not going to do that. Okay, so I backstitch a little bit, just going forward. Again, simple sewing, just a straight stitch. You can backstitch if you want to, but these edges are going to be enclosed, so you don't have to backstitch if you don't want to. There, simple. See, done, easy. Now, what you want to do is take your ribbon, and you want a piece of ribbon that's cut 5 inches long. And really, that's all you need to do. This is all you need. There's nothing else that you're going to need to this. That's how simple this is. So you're going to take your ribbon, and you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to measure about 2 inches. Again, this is an ish measurement, folks. So you're going to go down about 2 inches from the top here, and you're going to fold your ribbon in half, and you're going to put the ribbon right around the 2-inch mark. And so I'm going to scoot this around so you can see what I'm doing here. So now I'm going to pin that very quickly, and I'm pinning it a certain way, and I'll tell you why. So I'm pinning it so that the head of the pin, I am not pinning well today. The head of the pin needs to be facing outside, and here's why. If you take your pin and you put it on the inside, like this way, like that, what's going to happen is when you turn this inside out, your pin's going to be on the inside, and there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to get that out. So you want to make sure that the head of your pin goes off to the right. And now what you want to do is take this top pretty edge, and you want to fold it down so that the fold meets the ribbon. So this is going to be about 2 inches again. So you're kind of encasing that ribbon with the top. So again, we have our ribbon 5 inches long, folded in half and pinned. Now I'm going to take my pretty side, and I'm going to fold it down so that I'm meeting these raw edges here. And then the other side is also going to have the raw edges meeting. And now I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to take the bottom and bring it up to the top. You can do it just a little bit before you can meet the finished edge. It's completely up to you. So now I've got all my raw edges here. Now this you will need to pin or clip. It's completely up to you, whichever one you want to do. Very simple. I'm only using about 3 pins. Now, if you notice, I am using the J foot, which is our regular foot, but this would be an awesome time to break out the Move It foot. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, this is our Move It foot. This is, it's like a walking foot, but on steroids. It's much better. And the reason for its size is there's a motor inside here that you can go into your settings on your machine, and you can speed up or slow down the belt that's working here. Now, the nice thing about the belt system is this applies constant pressure on your project, on your fabrics, so that there's no shifting. So if you're working like me with a lot of silks and satins and organzas and things that just love to slip and slide, then this would be a perfect foot to use. And there are also multiple feet that you can get. This one comes with it. This is a standard foot, but there's also an open toe foot and a 1/4 inch foot, a stitch in the ditch foot. But again, this is a wonderful, wonderful move it foot that you could use for this as well, if you want to keep all those layers together. I found that my regular J foot works fine, but if you want to switch over to the move it foot, this would be a great time to do it. Okay, so again, we're just going to do some simple pinning. All right, and that's it. And now I just simply sew down both sides. So my needle, just so if you're wondering, my needles might be a little hard to see. Let's get my camera focusing here. My needle is right in the middle. So 1-03 places my needle right in the middle, and I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to use the right side of my foot as the guide. So it's a little more than 1/4 inch, maybe, I don't even know what that would be, but that's fine because that's what I want. Because I want it to get all of these edges enclosed. So do a quick little back stitch. I am going to take out my pins as I come to them. Do not sew over your pins. If you can at all help it, I know we do, not judging at all. I sometimes leave my pins in and sew over them when I'm working on a show quilt that has a lot of points, like a star quilt or something like that. I will leave the pins in because I absolutely have to have those points match. So if you notice, I'm going to leave that ribbon pin in because that ribbon could get a little wonky, slide around. Okay. One side's done. Let's go over to the other side. If at all, try not to sew into your pins. Again, I'm not judging. I've been known to do it, but the issue is your technician will probably love you because you're going to have to bring your machine in, and it is possible that you could throw your machine out of timing, and we don't want that. And you might cry, and there's no crying in sewing. Okay, there is on my end sometimes, but
no. Jerry, there's no crying today. Hey, Annette, if
no
you
crying
missed the
today.
beginning, you can go back and watch. He is making a real cool soap. What is the name of this, Jerry?
Yeah,
what should we call it?
I call it like a washcloth soap holder, or you could call it a soap saver, whichever you would like.
Perfect.
Trimming.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun. You want to know why? Is I always, when I travel, I bring my own everything, including soap. Yeah. And when I put that in a Ziploc bag, it just gets gross. So this is going to be fantastic.
Yep, and it's great. And again, it's washable. So if this does, after a few uses, this starts to get a little like has some of the soap residue on it. This is washable. It's a washcloth. So wash this separate, and then you could use this. This will last, I don't even know how long this will last, forever. All right, so now I'm going to open it up here. And I'm going to turn this inside out. So I'll just do this off camera because you know how to turn things inside out, folks. And then I'm going to flip that end over. And look at that. Once now you could do a better job than me. Come on, Jerry. You know how to turn things inside out. All right.
Like, wait for it. Actually, while you were on, I went over to the other side of my room and I found a whole thing of brand new wash. Look at how cute that is.
Look at that. I turned it inside out and look at that. How simple was that? And now you're going to take your soap and you're just going to open it up and slide your soap in. I can't do this on camera because it's too wonky. Slide your soap in, and there you go. Oops. Oop, let me slide into this one. And there you have it.
I'm like, where are you?
My soap is not cooperating. Sorry. And there you go. You have your soap holder. Well,
okay, that's really, really, really cute.
And there's your soap. And again, this is an exfoliator. So if you want smooth, soft skin with your soap, that'll go right through and it'll take all those dead skin cells off that we don't want.
I love that. Oh, Threaded Lady says, you could have embroidered a small design on it first. Well, I actually just bought a whole stack of washcloths, inexpensive ones, to leave at the office just to use like as a hand towel. And I was going to embroider my name. This is going to be way more fun. Forget the hand towels. I'm going to have to make this.
Yeah, and you can leave this at your sink too. Again, you could just use that for washing your hands real quick. It's great. leave your hands nice and soft. Yes, you could embroider that, but remember, you're going to need a clear topper on that. Listen to me. Here's my teacher side coming out. You're going to need a clear topper on that so that those stitches do not embed down into the loops. So just make sure you use that clear topper and you should be fine. Look how easy that was. And now you have a little loop to hang it up on. Whatever you could use a piece of twine, whatever you have laying around, doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh. So Jerry, I don't know if you can see the comments, but Gina, this is the funniest thing because I can totally see Wynn doing this too. My hubby recently bought a bar of soap and a washcloth pouch for $15. I was so mad. Yes, you could totally make these. Oh, I was talking about craft projects to sell. This would be a perfect one.
Absolutely. These are great for craft fairs. If you have, like if your quilt guild has a charity thing, this would be a great thing to use. Could you use quilting cotton? Sure, you could. You could use quilting cotton if you wanted to. I just like the washcloth because it's kind of made for soap. Washcloths and soap go together. So
I like the washcloth.
Yeah. Easy peasy sewing. How simple was that? They literally take 5 minutes to make. Again, let's go over it again. 4 inches by 11 inches or whatever the size your soap is. The ribbon is 5 inches, and that's it. That is all you need. This can be done from a hand towel. And if you wanted to, you could probably get a couple of these out of a hand towel. So, you can just crank these out. As much as the holidays are a 4-letter word, they are coming and they seem to come faster every year. These would be great last minute gifts because they're so fast. And it's something you don't think about. It's just, it's one of those things where you think it's really simple and the receiver goes, where did you get this? This is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Patty, how can I save this so I can watch it again? Looks like you're on Facebook. So the best thing to do is click share and share it to your page. Send it to your friends too. This is a great one. Or if you want to come back to Brothers Sew's Facebook page, you can find it there. Or the easiest way is to go to Brothers Sew's YouTube channel and click on live and you can come back. This is episode number 507. So, all right, we have more.
Up, onward and upward. All right, let's talk about this really cute. I think this is such an adorable idea. This little shell collector bag. And again, somebody said you could put, I saw in the comments that you could put a snorkel in here. I'm like, that's a great idea. You absolutely could do that. And there's a little strap so you can carry this over your shoulder while you're collecting. Open up the hook and loop tape and just kind of put those shells in there or whatever you need. It's just a great all-purpose general beachy type bag. So, and I have fabric, has little turtles on it and all that. You can customize this however you want. A lot of people will use just white mesh. I'm like, no, have you met me? I am out of the box. I'm going to use a color. So let's get into this. Let me show you how you make this. So let's switch over here to my instructions so I don't forget anything. So the first thing that you're going to need is some mesh fabric. You can buy this online at a big box store. People have this around usually because they're bag makers, right? And a lot of bags, this is they make see-through pockets out of this mesh. It's just mesh that's been around for a while. People are very familiar with it. You're going to need a piece that's 10 by 20 inches. So you do want to get a big enough piece to handle that. You're also going to need your cotton. You need about a 1/2 inch. That's plenty. Can you stitch together? You could use fat quarters if you want to. You are going to need a piece that's 4 inches by 35 inches. So you can piece together your fat quarters. That's what I did with these. I didn't have enough fabric left. So I pieced some together and I'll show you that on the strap. You can't even see it. You can't see where it is. And again, folks, it's a shell collector bag. This isn't a custom couture bag. So, you can piece it together. And there you can see right here where I pieced it together because I didn't have a big enough piece. Does it matter? No, it does not matter. So again, this is very easy sewing, not couture sewing. You make a mistake or you want to kind of fudge those two things together. Absolutely. You can do that. Okay, so now you're going to need 2 8 by 10 inch cotton pieces of fabric. So in this case, let me flip this over. Here's my 8 by 10s. And what you're going to do, you're going to do some pressing here. So what you're going to do is take one of the pieces. You're going to do this on both, but on the one, you're going to fold in a 1/2 inch and press on each side. Then you're going to put those together, meeting those finished edges, and press a crease into it. Very simple, right? Nothing complicated so far. So you got your 8 by 10. You're going to fold in a 1/2 inch on each end and then fold that in half and crease it in the middle. All right. You're going to set those aside. All right. So then you are going to cut your pieces. You're going to need two 8x10 cotton pieces. One piece, remember I said 4 inches by 35 inches. And then your mesh is going to be 10 by 20. So let me repeat that for those of you who are going to share this and may want to make this later. So two 8x10 pieces of cotton, one 4 by 35 inch piece of cotton, and one 10 by 20 inch piece of mesh. That's it. That's all the cutting you need to do. So now what we need to do is we need to attach the mesh to the cotton fabric. And so I have a step out here. So I know this is a little monsterized here, so you'll just have to bear with me. So what I've done is I have taken my mesh and I'm putting the raw edges right along. So this is the 10-inch side of the mesh that's meeting the 10-inch side of the fabric. So you're just going to lay that raw edge right along the raw edge of the bag, and you're going to stitch with a zigzag. Let me flip this over so that you could see. You're going to stitch that down with a zigzag. And then I also added a top stitching as well. And you'll do that on both sides. So I know it's a little wonky here because this is a step out. So I did this to both sides. So now I'm going to have a long piece of mesh with two pieces of cotton fabric on each side. All right, so now what I want to do is, remember when we had that 8x10 piece with the two folded pieces of fabric. Remember I have my crease here. So I'm going to fold this over. Sorry for my Godzilla hands. I apologize for that. And I'm going to fold this over so that these finished edges meet. And that's going to encase the mesh. And now what you want to do is run a zigzag. And I'll just do a quick zigzag here for you. I'm using 1-10. I'm setting the width at 6 millimeters. And I'm setting the length at 2 millimeters. So again, 1-10 zigzag, width at 6 millimeters, length at 2 millimeters. Now I won't do the whole thing. I'll just do this part way so that you kind of get the idea. Now you can pin this if you want to, or clip it, either way. And you're just going to go down and just zigzag. I have found that in this case, I've already done one side, so I feel like I don't really need to pin this. But if you really think that that's going to give you a better finish, then by all means do so. Okay.
I love that fabric, Jerry.
Isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect for the beach.
Perfect.
And now I'm just going to run a go to 1-03. This is my straight stitch, and I'm just going to do a quick top stitch, just to really secure that mesh and really make sure that those. Oops. It works better if your needle is threaded. Just for pro tip here, folks, use that as you wish. Fun fact. So let me thread my needle. Okay. Now I'm going to do a quick little top stitch.
I know, Don. I agree. Everybody's like, I love the fabric. I do too.
Simple. There we go. Yeah, it's really cute. I just found this at a store. I just like, oh, that's perfect for this. All right, so there I have my zigzag and I have my top stitch. Now that mesh is going nowhere, right? It's locked in. So now I have my finished edge. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So this is, again, this is a little monsterized here, but here's my other side as well. So there's my zigzag, my top stitch. I've encased my mesh and I'm ready to go. Once you do that, it is now time to sew up the sides. So actually, nope, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's time, you're going to set that aside. Now you're going to go to your 4-inch by 35-inch piece. So this is your long piece of fabric. And again, this is a step out. So what it's going to look like once you've got it all opened up, got it flat. So there's 44 inches by 35 inches long. And what you're going to do, go back to the iron. You're going to press this in half, meaning raw edges. You're going to press that in half to get a crease. Then you're going to open this up. This is like making bias binding tape. It's kind of the same thing. You're going to take your raw edges and you're going to put them in the middle to meet that crease, and you're going to give that a press. Now, once you've done that, you're going to fold this over, meeting the finished edges, and give that a press. So you basically have 4 layers of fabric here. You have a clean edge on this side, and you have clean open edges here. So again, this is like bias tape. You're making like a bias tape, but this is a shoulder strap that we're making. So what you're going to do is you're going to then do 1-03. Now here's kind of a little tip. I take my J foot off and I'm using my open toe applique foot. There, so you can see it a little better. And I'll show you the reason why I like using this, because now I'll put this on my machine eventually, but I want to show you what's going to go on here. Once I lower my presser foot, the inside of that fabric can ride right on the inside of that foot. And that's like a guide. So all I have to do is slide, let the machine do its stitching. And I just have to make sure that that edge rides right along. And it does kind of stick in there because this is a raised foot. So let me attach this foot. Show you what we're doing here. So I've already started part of this. And I believe, let me do my left-right shift to get my needle over to the left, or to the right, I'm sorry. Drop my presser foot. Yep, so I'm at 5.25 on my left-right shift. Just going to do a top stitch. And because the finished edges are riding right inside that foot, it's like a guide. And it makes absolutely beautiful top stitching. Makes it perfect. I won't do the whole thing because we're just doing part of it. But look how nice that is. Look how even and perfect that those stitches are. Because I was using this foot and I allowed it. Again, this is an applique foot. But I find in this application, if you're a bag maker, this would be a great foot to have. Because, again, for your top stitching alone. It just makes beautiful, here I can show you both sides, beautiful top stitching. There's no little wobbles or wavers. Like sometimes if you use the J foot, there isn't a stopper. It's a flat foot underneath. But this it's an open toe and it has those ridges on the feet. So you can ride those finished edges right along the inside of that foot and it creates beautiful top stitching. So it's a really great kind of a tip to use for that. So again, I had to piece this together, and I'll show you this here. I had to piece this fabric together. See, no big deal. If you don't have enough fabric, just piece it on together, and you'll be fine. And you can't see it hardly, And again, this isn't couture sewing. So, all right, and you'll do that on both sides. So now what you're going to have so far is you're going to have your bag or your strap, and you're going to have your two. Let me get this out of the way for you. Your two 8 by 10 inch pieces of fabric that have been attached to each side of your mesh, enclosing that. All right, now it's time to sew. So to sew it together. So you're going to sew your sides together. And what I'm going to use for that, I'm going to go back to my zigzag stitch. And I'm going to tell you a little tip. Again, my width is, so again, 1-010, my width is 5 millimeters, my length is 2 millimeters, and I'm going to show you a trick. Because what happens is you're going to put this wrong sides together. Now, because this is pretty much the same on the back and the front, it doesn't matter. There isn't really a right side. However, and I'll show you on this side, because you've stitched this twice, you're going to have 2 rows of zigzag. I kind of want that on the inside of my bag. I don't want that on the outside of my bag. The other side is a really pretty finished edge, right? That's what I want to see on the outside. So I'm going to put the double row zigzag on the inside of the bag. So I'm going to put my my right sides together. And so now what I'm going to do is sew up the sides. But do you see a problem here? There are so many holes in the mesh that it really makes it difficult to sew. Let me switch over to my J foot. So I'm going to show you a little trick. What I have done is I've taken a piece of ribbon that kind of matches my color here, and I'm going to lay that over the raw edge of my mesh and sew along that. So what that's going to do is give me something tangible to sew against, and it's going to hold everything together. Now, if you notice at the top, it's a little bit longer, and at the bottom, it's a little bit longer. That's what I want. Now, would you pin this? Sure, probably. But because I'm such a rebel and I do things different, I'm not going to do that. So we'll see how this turns out. And you're going to start from the top, and you're going to work your way on down. using a zigzag. You could do a top stitch, whatever, you do both if you want to, if you really want to make it secure. So we're just going to sew down the side, and notice now I'm stitching on the ribbon and not the mesh. If I were going to sew the mesh, there's way too many holes. It's just, it wouldn't really be possible. This be a great place to use a move it foot? Absolutely. This is another, you got this slippery, slidey fabric. This would be a great place for the move it foot. Switch over to that. Ta-da. See, really easy sewing. Nothing complicated here. All right, once I've done that, and there we go, I'm going to trim. And I'm going to trim all that extra from the bottom. Be very careful not to cut your mesh. And I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to cut that. Again, if you want to stop your ribbon here, you can certainly do so. It just gives extra support here as well. I have done the other side already. So now I'm ready to turn my bag inside out. Let me do that off camera so that you can see. There we go. So there's my bag inside out. And you notice I've got it actually makes like kind of a decorative trim with the ribbon there. But again, it's just going to keep everything together. So if you were going to stitch this just mesh on mesh as a seam, there's no guarantee that that would hold together, right? The minute you put any stress on that, you could easily pop those stitches. But because you have the ribbon in there, the easiest way to see it, because you have the ribbon in there, you now have extra support and stability. So that mesh is locked in. It isn't going anywhere. So really, there's your bag. Now, if you wanted to put some hook and loop tape here and just have it as a bag without a strap, sure, you could do that, a little carry bag. But, to be extra bougie, we're going to add a little strap to it. And so remember, I have my strap already finished here. So the easy way to do this is, and this gives extra stability to a seam as well. You're going to come down, an inch or so, and you're going to lay your strap in. Let's see if I can get this on camera, covering that seam. So I just folded that seam over, came down about an inch. This is an ish measurement. And you're just going to lay it on there, and you're going to stitch straight across this straight edge. So I'm going to go back to my 1-03 straight stitch. Let's put this under the machine and just very simply do some simple sewing here. You can back stitch your whole way if you want to, just back stitch a couple times over it if you really want that sturdy and stable. Great. Okay, so there's my strap. The short end is sewn. Well, wait a minute, Jerry, you put your strap wrong. It's going inside the bag. Oh no, watch this. We're going to flip the strap so that it's now coming to the outside. So do you see what I've done here? I've created a nice clean edge right here. So again, there's my raw edge, about an inch down. I'm flipping the strap over, so now it's outside. And so now I'm going to stitch, whatever you like, but like a rectangle. So let me do this. Notice I have my pivot function on, so my needle goes down, my presser foot comes up, so that I can turn this very easily. I'm going to make a little rectangle here, give some extra stability, just do all 4 corners. Do you notice how lovely the Aveneer goes right through all those layers? There's no buckling, there's no problems whatsoever. It's almost like the Aveneer is saying, really, that's all you got? Give me more. Now I'm going to do an X, like you've seen on jeans or other bags. And that way it just gives even more stability. So I'm just going to kind of back tack over the previous stitches, do a little X.
Jerry, you know what feature I'm thinking I would be using.
What's
it's
that?
My favorite feature ever, and I just can never find any more places to use it. The sideways sewing feature. I would be all over that.
Sewing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
totally. I love it. This looks so good. Everybody's saying this is so rich. This would make a great grocery bag. Right. Yeah, I know. You don't have a beach? Use groceries.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like me, you have about 300 grocery bags and you leave them in the car every time you go shopping. So now you got to buy bags.
Oh my gosh, that's so me. That is me to a T.
So I've got like the whole back area of my car is filled with shopping bags. And do I remember them when I go shopping? No. All right, so there, get that out of the way. So there, I've made my little rectangle with my X just to give it extra strength. That strap ain't going nowhere. Now you're going to go over to the other side, and I won't do it because I just did it for you. You're going to go to the other side, and the only thing to remember here is you want to double check and make sure that your strap doesn't get twisted because you've got 35 inches here. That's a long strap. So you want to make sure that it's not twisted. So if you flip it around like this, your strap is going to be twisted and you're not going to be happy. So you're going to be crying, and there's no crying in sewing. So I didn't sew this side up because this is a step out. But again, you would just put that raw edge, put her up here, flip that strap over, create your rectangle and your X, and off you go. My camera doesn't want to focus. Let me get this out of the way.
This looks so good. So I do have a quick question for you. Let me run up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Two quick questions for you.
Yes,
Anna, where can I find the pattern for this project? There is not a pattern, but if you watch the replay, Jerry walks you through exactly what you need for this project and the size. So just hit replay.
My pattern is in my head.
Yeah. And it looks like you're watching on Facebook. So share this to your page. And as soon as the live is over, you can rewatch that. That'd be very easy.
Yeah.
All right. I think I see. Hold on. We got one more. Sandy, could the mesh bag, would it be secure if I used a serger on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. You could do that. Yep. You could totally use a serger. Sure. Yeah, it'd be great for that. As a matter of fact, it would. You wouldn't need the ribbon. Sergers are great for like those knit slippery fabrics. So it'd be great for that. Sure, you could serge that up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's got a bunch of kids, and they've got a beach.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she's got a bunch of kids over, and they've got a beach. This is a great kids idea. Don says This would be a great idea for kids. I agree.
Yeah, it took me longer to talk about it than it did to make it. I mean, it's really simple sewing. You could do this in 25 minutes, maybe even without 30 minutes with all the cutting. There's only 1, 2, 3 pieces of fabric plus the mesh. That's it.
Yeah, what a great project.
Yeah,
a few people were asking about that open toe applique foot. I didn't have the number for it, but I dropped it in the chat so you guys can see scrolling below. Go to your brother dealer, call your local brother dealer. They will have it.
Yeah, open toe applique foot is what it's called. But it's just so great for so many purposes. It's great if you're doing top stitching, if you need extra visual, you don't want a foot in the way. It's just wide open, so it gives you absolutely beautiful visuals.
That's what I like it for. There's not the little plastic piece, so you can see exactly what you're looking at. You know exactly where that needle is.
Yeah, yeah. And it comes in either plastic or metal, so it just depends.
Oh.
I use metal because I'm going through zippers and things a lot, so I just want to make sure that my foot's a little extra stable. But if you're doing applique all the time, the plastic one is fine as well, but they work the same.
Oh, that's good to know. So if you call your brother dealer, even if they don't have it, they'll order it for you. And just tell them what brother machine you're on, because it will work with, there's different ones for different machines, depending on the size. But for the Aveneer, Luminaire, Stellaire, those would all be the same.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. So what did you all think? Did you like those projects? I thought they were kind of cute.
I love it. I was just enjoying reading everybody's comments. And I think that soap, the soap, what I keep not coming up with a name for it, the soap holder washer.
Yep. Soap holder washer thingy.
That is going to be first on my list. I literally have a whole stack of washcloths over here. I totally changed my mind now what I'm going to make. And this will make great gifts, especially for everybody coming up to the cottage. It's going to be a lot of fun.
When somebody said something about embroidering on it, inside the Aveneer, there is a little anchor design. There's a whole marine setting. So you could do shells on here. There's a little anchor. That would be adorable on there. So if you want to keep with the beachy theme.
That would be very cool. In fact, I know we've been talking a lot about Art Spirit lately, and I know there's a ton of little, like, that go in a 4x4 hoop. So those designs are really tiny. It would be perfect for this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Perfect. But again, use a clear top.
Don't forget that. That is a great tip. Debbie says, thank you. Oh, we love doing the live shows for you. We love it. And I love easy gifts like this. Don't you? In fact, speaking of easy gifts, Julie says, hey, brother, I always tell everyone if they've got an idea for a future project, drop it in the chat. How to make a clear vinyl stadium bag. Julie, noted.
Ooh.
We'll definitely keep that. in mind.
Yeah, totally. We go to a lot of concerts, and so we have to have our clear bag. So yes, I get it. That's a great idea.
That's a great idea. Well, everybody's saying thank you, Jerry. They absolutely love the project. We had well over 100 live viewers today. That means you knocked it out of the park. Everybody's like so enamored by this. But I don't know. We should ask them. Are they waiting to find out if Hercules is going to snore, or were they really enamored by the projects?
Oh, I was waiting for something to be delivered and have him start barking because he's the protector of the house. So yeah, he's banished to the other part of the house so he doesn't snore.
Yeah, for all of you newbies, Jerry's dog, Hercules, best dog ever. He loves to snore on the show.
The first live that we did, he was laying next to me because he's my hook and loop dog, right? We can't say the brand, so he's my hook and loop dog. So he's locked to my leg everywhere I go. And he gets very panicky if I leave for even a minute.
Everybody's saying thank you, Jerry. This has been just two great projects. Super easy and fast to do. I mean, look at the timing on that, including all of the chatting we were doing. I mean, less than a half an hour, you're going to have this done. If you, I think I'd make a few at a time.
I'd have them both done in that time. Again, quick projects. If the kids or the grandkids are coming and you live near a beach, these are, like I said, they're great last minute projects. Great things to make. Very, very simple, just easy. So again, you could use fat quarters if you have them laying around. A lot of us have them. We don't know what to do with them. Use them for this project.
Everybody's saying, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try it. That's awesome. So don't forget, if you're watching on Facebook, click the like button. Be sure to follow Brother Sews and Brother Crafts. If you're on the YouTube channel, click subscribe and you'll never miss a show. You'll get a little alert. That's my favorite thing. Sometimes I'll get an alert when we do a pre-record. I'm like, oh, it's noon. I get to watch today. But good news is we're live today. So even if you're watching the replay, guys, just drop your question in the chat. If I don't know it, I send it over to Jerry, which I usually do. So we love it that you're here. And if you have an idea for the next live show, let us know. Jerry, this is super, super fun. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Angela. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I always love getting together with you and kind of tossing ideas around and doing these lives. They're so much fun.
A lot of creativity going on. All right. Well, you have a great day. I hope it stays cool there and here. Let's hope it gets cooler.
It's going to be a chilly 111 today. So
yeah. Oh yeah. I think, hold on. The studio right now is 89, but the air conditioning will be fixed tomorrow. So woo-hoo.
Ouch. As someone who is always internally hot, that just hurts.
Hey, Jerry, till next time, happy sewing. Great to see you, everyone. See you on Thursday. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Attach the embroidery frame in the initial sewing position.